Welcome, Capricorn, to your in-depth weekly astrology overview and zodiac forecast for week commencing the 23rd of March for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. I'm going to share with you the big themes of the week first, then on screen your event chart on Monday, always influential as a backdrop for the whole week. I'll then go through each of the influences frame by frame to give you a clear picture of what you can expect in terms of relationships, finance, energy, and work. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundell. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. So it's a week when the sun's going to meet your ruler Saturn in Aries for the first time in 28 years. But just as they do, which is pretty rare, they're also linking to Pluto. Pluto now in the sign of Aquarius for you, very much about resources, your values, your self-worth. What is that connection about? We have a quarter moon at the heart of this week as well, which can have an impact on your relationships. And speaking of which, Capricorn, as the week draws to a close, the planet of relating forges a tender alliance with Chiron. I'll share about that too. So on the screen is your event chart. And as we go into the week, that collective in your fourth house, including your ruler Saturn. But the moon is in the convivial fifth house, but does link with Uranus as we get to the end of last week and come into this new week. So if you did do something quite spontaneously, sociably, or even romantically, late on Sunday, early on Monday wouldn't be a complete surprise. And speaking of relationships, Capricorn, Jupiter, the planet of hope, optimism, and good fortune, is in a tremendous location still for you, but linking back powerfully to Mars in the part of your chart to do with everyday quick communications. But that's part of your chart that's been snared recently by Mercury retracing its steps in Pisces, where it doesn't really do so well. Now, Mercury is now direct. It's in a conjunction again with the North Node. If you listen to your instincts, but also communicate with clarity, the passion of Mars linking to Jupiter suggests if you have got a message you want to share to someone that you're very drawn to, you can get it across with conviction and a lot of enthusiasm. But of course, the Sun last week met with Neptune in that fourth house, which may have heightened your sensitivity, but also made you much more conscious of what you could do creatively in the comfort of your home. But what will happen when the Sun meets with Saturn in your fourth house on Wednesday? Well, if there are some things that you need to attend to as far as the structural side of where you live, if there are some repairs, gutters need cleaning. There are some tiles that have shaken loose. If there is some maintenance that's required to the garden, all of those things Saturn can really ask you to attend to. But the Sun also gives you the energy to do something about it. But because the fourth house can be about family dynamics, if there is a tension with someone you live with or someone you're close to, it might show up at this time and it might feel very powerful. But with Pluto linking to the duo of the Sun and Saturn on Wednesday, this can also give you some deeper understanding of how you feel in terms of your values. It's possible that the tension or the opportunity, depending on which, might be around your desire to improve where you live and someone else's resistance to that. Then again, you could have things like one young adult is leaving home or has left home and wants to come home. If you share your place, you may find that someone that a flatmate may want to leave, or there may be someone new that's coming. So there can be some energies around the root of your situation that do create a little bit of frustration or may need some attention and hard work. If you're someone who has tended to be very resilient in your life, but at times has not put your own emotions first. I think Saturn is really asking you, and it's going to be a story that's repeated over the next couple of years, to start taking the more tender and vulnerable parts of yourself more seriously. Don't see it as a weakness. It's actually a good thing to integrate all of our being. However, as the week goes on, Venus is going to be forging a very tender alliance with Chiron, but we have a quarter moon before that, and that quarter moon occurs in your sector of relating. If there's somebody that you're very fond of, it could be two people. You may find yourself as the mediator between two people who are finding it difficult to see eye to eye. Then again, you may feel that in a romantic context, that as much as you may try to be diplomatic and understand another person's viewpoint, they're not very attentive or nurturing to how you feel. And if there is that weakness in a close relationship of any kind, you could become much more conscious of it. By the end of the week, however, Venus's application to Chiron is intriguing. I feel in the fourth house, Chiron can make us much more conscious of our historical story, particularly as far as our early life. If there is still some tender stuff there relating to your childhood, it could become much more powerful. But you could also find yourself towards the end of this week giving someone some very caring, thoughtful, and very profound advice, which they could be really appreciative of. But if you are drawn to someone romantically, and it's not really feeling right, I think this is a week that is going to ask you not to ignore that. Because as much as Mars, in that very passionate link to Jupiter, and Mercury going direct can be very bubbly and see you wanting to get the enthusiasm going, I think essentially that fourth house energy is really asking you to be much more conscious about that feeling of security, but also feeling that you just feel comfortable and at ease with whom you're with, whether it is professionally, whether it is personally, or you have the right conditions to thrive in terms of your home. And if something is a little bit out of kilter, for some Capricorns, I think there could be a desire to perhaps redecorate, remodel, or even move altogether. So just to summarize, Capricorn, professionally, I think that if you do have some very constructive relationships, I think communication, if it has been a bit slowed down, or it's been not very clear, that can definitely improve. But I think whatever you're focused on at the moment, your emotional well-being is actually really, really important. And if that's working well, your physical health will be good. And if you're feeling a bit below par, do consider if there may be some unresolved feelings that you do really need to look at. As far as finance is concerned, Uranus does retain its presence in your fifth house, and the fifth house can be speculative. And Uranus, could, of course, can be about innovation. I think if you're a communicator or you work with technology or you're in a situation where you need to communicate more nimbly, I think this will be a better week for you. But I just think you are going to be much more sensitive about your environment. And it's something really to be ready and prepared for rather than resisting that part of your nature. You can sign up for your free daily horoscope by clicking the link beneath this video. Get it fired to your device each morning for that celestial pit stop. You can also watch your vernal equinox 3-month deep dive forecast. Please click on the link for that. Your Pisces new moon video. Or if you'd like to work with me, please see my testimonials below. You can also order your personal horoscope, gain a greater understanding into your unique journey through this life. Great value, 50% off. Please see the link below for more. Have a great week, Capricorn. All the best and goodbye.